Hello, and welcome to my Let's Play on the Dayz Standalone, which just came out. It's now in the alpha stage, and I have got to play with it for a couple days now, and I've decided to get around to doing a Let's Play just after the recent update, which now allows you to inspect items, which has been interesting to see the descriptions that some items give. So this is just me starting off with a lucky spawn in Chernogorsk, and just running around trying to hunt down items and looking at all the books to see if they ever actually give you a description for what those things are used for, because there's quite a few books they added, but at the current moment there's really no use to them as I know of, so just flipping through a couple of those there, and I found a creepy mess, so I was going to go around and start messing with people, but Chernogorsk, as with the Dayz mod, is always a filled city, but in this case there was no one there with a server of 35 people on. So far the Dayz Standalone is a lot nicer than the mod was. The graphics handled much better. It looks nicer, and looting is a lot harder. It's kind of taking the Dayz mod from what it used to be and taking the difficulty much higher to where you're basically afraid of dying of starvation. And if you're going to leave the town you're in, you have to have the amount of supplies required to actually make it to the next town, or you run a chance of starving and dying, which I have done multiple times, but that actually never happened to me while playing the mod using Arma 2. So this is quite interesting to see how they've made it a lot harder compared to the last one. Also, they vastly limit the size of your inventory now, so you really do have to pick and choose what you want to carry. And you may wear different clothing based off how much space the clothing gives you the option to have, which is interesting, but it also has led to some very ugly mixtures of clothing where I'll have one item and then a bunch of other things. And one thing I haven't noticed them implement, as far as I can see, is the weight. So I don't know if items have weights that I just can't see, or they do have weights and you're just supposed to guess on what they weigh. It would be nice if that was added, because then I'd actually understand how much this stuff weighs. And right here, as you can see with me playing, I'm running around with no backpack, because you start without a backpack now, and you got about 4 inventory slots, so it's really micromanaging, and the hospitals and loot spawns are all over the place. You're tucking in between every little crack looking for items. And it kind of seems to be more of an inventory manager now, compared to what it used to be, where Dayz was just running around killing zombies. The new Dayz, you don't see as many zombies. It's more just trying to survive. The zombies are kind of like a back thought to all of it, though they are threatening, but you can put together a bandage basically out of anything. One thing I thought was quite interesting how they added was you need a can opener to open cans now. So cans are one of the best things. So your baked bean cans, they will give you 2 or 3 eating sessions, so you can eat it more than once. But the problem is you need a can opener. So you may find a bunch of cans, but you still might starve because you just can't find any can opener to open those cans. So that makes it quite much more interesting with that. Plus they've added a couple more melee weapons. There's now the 2 different hatchets. There's a baseball bat, there's a shovel, which you can see now. I didn't pick that up because the fireman's hatchet is the best currently as I know of. And the guns are a lot harder to find. As far as I know of, there's only 3 that I've seen, which is the AK, the Meissen, which is a rifle, old World War II rifle, and the M16, which I've seen about 4 of. Though most people that have them don't actually have ammo for them, so it's kind of them running around pointing the gun at people and saying, "Give me your stuff," and they'll have no ammo. And it does show that, so when you get mugged, always turn around and look at the person's gun and see if there's a magazine sticking out of the bottom, because if there's no magazine, that person does not have ammo and they're no threat to you. Though another problem is it takes a while to switch weapons, so if you've got a gun and you want to switch to your other pistol, it's not as easy as it used to be with the scroll wheel. I don't know if that's me not being able to map out my controls properly, but I just took the Arma 2 controls, so I thought they would be the same, and it appears not to be that. The firehouse, as you see me entering now, compared to how it used to be where you could always find at least 1 gun, I end up going through this whole firehouse, and all I end up finding is a single magazine for a pistol. So it's quite a lot more difficult to find anything you need, and it makes it a lot more interesting, but it's also nice because you don't have anyone driving around in vehicles shooting everyone, and you don't have people that are completely overpowered compared to everyone else on the server yet. I mean, I'm sure later on we'll start to see a lot more hackers hacking in the game, where they'll be spawning in loot crates and running around with the best weapons in the game. But for now, everyone's on a level playing field, and you don't see a lot of people going around and just automatically killing other people. It's more getting held up or actually helping each other. I was on yesterday and I came across multiple people, and nobody actually had a gun, and they'd always been playing for a couple hours, and they said they just didn't find anything. And you start to see now with the standalone compared to the mod, a lot more people are wanting to work together because it's a lot more effective to loot all the buildings. With the mod, you could just easily go through Chernogorsk and loot all the buildings that you actually needed to loot. But now with the standalone, you're actually pressed for the items you need. So a group of 5 is a lot more effective than just running around as a lone soldier trying to pick up all the stuff you need to stay alive. And it takes a lot longer to go through cities to loot them, because now you're checking under every nook and cranny, you're checking behind the doors, you're checking in cabinets, you're just looking for anything you possibly could need to survive. And also they removed the key bar where you could stick all your tools. So with the mod, you could always have like a hatchet, you could stick a crowbar in there, you could stick matches, a compass, a watch. Now they've removed that, so you actually have to use inventory slot spots for that. So it really does make you wonder, do I need this now? Do I? No, probably not. So you won't actually take compasses anymore. So the people that actually do want a compass will get compasses, but it'll take up a slot. And that has made it a lot more interesting. So overall, the standalone is a lot better than the mod was, and I definitely recommend spending the $30. And I'll see you in the next part.